Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. What If sign-in system and high school DxD will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if Gacha system and modern family world? What if Natsu has dual elements? What if transmigrated in One Piece and becoming a marine? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 111, A Big Day. Ohara celebrates. Boom! The sky of Ohara was decorated with flashes of fireworks, causing people to exit their homes with stunned expressions. The sky turned different colors due to the fireworks Rob shooted to celebrate his daughter's arrival. Rob had all of this planned before. He's already started the big party to welcome Robin into the family. The festive fireworks were just the first stage, and it could be considered a stage announcing the start of the big party. Big words were formed in the sky by fireworks. Welcome little Robin to our family. Everyone from all corners of Ohara can read it clearly. Many mothers and fathers were touched. Can everyone celebrate their newborn in such a big way? No, can they even think of such a festive way? And even if someone succeeded in thinking this way, could they apply it like the divine store owner? However, today there was a father who could do that, and that father was the divine store owner himself. Inside the art store, its upper walls turned transparent, like a 4K TV. Of course, this was in the system settings and was done by Rob. Everyone who was inside the art store could see the fireworks that decorated the night sky above Ohara. Alvia had regained all the stamina she had lost in the process of giving birth. She looked more healthy than ever. Even Kureha was shocked by this and started to mutter in a low voice with words like, "That didn't make sense." She didn't know that Alvia had achieved the dream she herself had been chasing all her life, immortality. Almost infinite stamina, she can lose it, but it will come back doubly. Alvia was feeling very refreshed, but she knew why. Her body had been changed by her husband. She had become so strong recently, even the strength of her raw body could be compared to a rear admiral in the Navy, but she didn't know it. Since she was pregnant with little Robin, she didn't dare to try to check its strength. But even so, Kureha wouldn't let her and baby leave the recovery bed. Alvia had no choice but to obediently listen to her doctor. Then at this moment, the sky turned bright colors with festive fireworks. He, what a wild kid, you have a really interesting husband. A big smile appeared on the elderly face of Kureha. She has lived for many years. What has she doesn't see in all this life? But it's the first time she's seen a father celebrate the arrival of his newborn in such a way. So showy. If this is not what is called wild, then who is worthy of this title? He's very excited, so he'll do crazy things when he's excited. He really deserves to be hit. Alvia's face, who was holding Robin in her arms, was brighter than ever, the happy smile on her face dismissing any scolding she had given her husband. Suddenly little Robin opened her eyes for the first time since her birth. The bright lights of fireworks reflected in her big blue eyes. The first thing she saw in her life was the welcome sentence written in the sky by bright fireworks. Little Robin raised both her little hands to the sky as if she was reacting to this. When Alvia, Kureha, the nurses, and the waitressing sisters saw this amazing scene, they froze in shock. Outside the art store, Rob stood beside Professor Clover and the male archaeologists who included Don Quixote Humming, Rob's brother-in-law Nico Oren, and some excited neighbors from Knowledge Village. The time was too late, but who cares? Today was a happy day for the most powerful and most authority family in Ohara. Earlier Rob bought a lot of high-quality fireworks that can turn into written words or drawn shapes from the system shop, all for this occasion. When the first phase of his baby girl celebration over, Rob tells everyone to go home to get some rest, and he was head back inside the art store. Now, he has to wait for tomorrow morning, to complete his big celebration. Give her to me. Rob sat in bed next to Alvia and Robin. This time the family of 3 got their own time because everyone went to sleep. Rob gently took his little girl in his arms, while lowering his strength as hard as he could so as not to harm her in any way. This wasn't the first time he held her in his arms, but it was the first time he saw her charming eyes open, which were the same as her mother's eyes. "Oh, why are you so cute? Do you want to kill Daddy with your own kindness?" Alvia was amused seeing this. Seeing Rob, who was very beginner and he didn't know how to handle a baby, made her feel like laughing. But when she seeing the immense happiness that he couldn't suppress and reflected in all his stupid actions, he made her feel a kind of indescribable inner peace. She didn't expect that giving a child to her husband would make him so happy. This was an insane level of happiness. Will all parents reach this stage of happiness on the day their children are born? Well, what Alvia didn't know was that Robin was the best 2D character for Rob in his past life. What does it mean to be the father of your favorite character? Especially if your favorite character's past is so tragic and you're hoping to change it somehow. This was exactly why Rob was so happy. Without a doubt, Robin will become her father's most valuable treasure. Damn One Piece treasure. Robin, to him, was more precious than any treasure, no matter how valuable it was. Just like earlier, Robin raised her 2 little hands and touched Rob's laughing face as she opened her little mouth, obviously trying to laugh too, for the first time. This cute scene made Rob and Olivia freeze. So cute. ×2. Earlier, when she saw your warm welcome to her, she reacted the same way. When he heard this from Alvia, he became even happier. That's cool, that worth every art point I spend on it if his daughter ever saw it. All night long, Rob and Alvia happily played with their baby girl. They noticed that she was full of vitality. Unlike normal newborns, little Robin was slightly different. Her body looked a little bigger, her skin was also filled with a pink and milky glow. Her skin looked very white in contrast to her mother's slightly brown skin. She also had hair. A black hair. Who began to grow rapidly an hour after her born, only slowed down when its density reached a certain stage. In his arms was Robin, the cutest creature he had ever seen. Rob and Alvia had a premise. Robin apparently inherited her parents' genes that are almost exploding with vitality. This means that they gave birth to a little immortal girl. They just wish she wouldn't grow too fast and lose her childhood. The next morning, O'Hara woke up to a pleasant tune to hear. Is this a song? Yes, the song's tones were echoing all over O'Hara. The festival has begun, so of course, there will be music. But not any music would do well and would make the perfect atmosphere for his little treasure's birth party. Only the song that symbolized the original Robin's liberation from her shackles could receive this honor. The lyrics of the popular song Brand New World appeared in the world of One Piece for the first time. Musical score Hashirades. Hashirades. Musical notes. Musical notes Sora Takaku Hata Kazashi musical score. Musical notes. The wondrous and amazing lyrics of the song made all O'Hara residents come out of their homes, to their surprise, with a large virtual 3D anthropomorphic placed in the air above the art store, clearly visible from all over O'Hara. It had a colored ball in the center that was constantly spinning as the song with a strange melody continued. But the amazing thing about it is that it contained animations of the Straw Hats fighting a strange group of people in masks, and also fighting Marines. Even more astonishing, they stand on top wall bridge of Ennie's lobby facing the same group of people he once fought, while Miss All Sunday, Baroque Works vice president, as everyone knows her, was in handcuffs and sobbing. No one understood what that was, because the pictures were moving at high speed, but everyone could see the world government flag being burned at some point by a fiery shot of the mask-wearing Usopp. Did you think everyone was as stupid as Luffy, and wouldn't recognize him? What they have been watching and hearing is the full opening 6 of One Piece anime, which Rob recasts him into this world with the ability of the art store beacon, video projection, using his memories. Thus began the big celebration, which only a crazy like Rob could stage. What a great song! I wonder who has such a golden voice and rich emotions. I don't know why, but I prefer the animation that was in that strange projection. It would be great if we could watch One Piece manga like that. I agree with you, but I prefer the song more. It sounds great and is appropriate for such a great event as the birth of Mr. Rob's child. I agree with you too. What a great man, organizing a festival because of his daughter's birth. That's what I might call real extravagance. Everyone at O'Hara had their opinion, but they were all very thankful at the end of the day because they really enjoyed the food, dancing, and playing all day long. Rob spent hundreds of millions of art points to buy tons and tons of foods and all kinds of wine and soft drinks from the system shop. His daughter's birth party couldn't be less extravagant. He dared call it a festival because it was an entire island level. Yes, Crazy Rob organized a very big party. No one was left hungry in O'Hara today. Alvia and the waitress's sisters are speechless, they can only ignore it and enjoy the feast. It was difficult to predict the thoughts of the rich. Chapter 112, The Fiery Return of the Bleach Manga. We have to consider the environment in which little Robin Wood grows up. What do you think is the best place for that? Tato Land? Skype? Or maybe Sabaody Archipelago? Alvia looked with a gentle smile at her husband, who was seriously consulting her before she said, "If our daughter grows up on an island made of food and sweets, she will lose her mother's grace and become fat. That is what I cannot accept. And if we take her to Sky Island, it will negatively affect her respiratory system, she will probably get diseases as a result," says Dr. N. "It is better to allow the child to thrive in the environment in which she was born." But she was born inside the art store? The air there is much better than the air outside. Alvia shook her head helplessly, her husband wanting to pamper his baby girl who had just completed her first week in this world. Yes, it's been a week since Robin was born, and since that historic festival, which no one can ever forget. Then, the first week of little Robin's life passed relatively quietly. If she was to be treated like a precious doll by the maid's sisters every time they held her in hand, never wanting to give her up unless Rob or Alvia pulled her from them by force. On the whole, Rob and Alvia understood that, after all, even them, as her parents, couldn't resist her cuteness, let alone the others. Her parents' immortal genes, more specifically Rob's genes that doesn't die, caused her to acquire an incredible amount of vitality, which affected her appearance and made her look like a cute flower that had not yet bloomed. "Well, since we're staying in O'Hara, that means we need our big house now, right?" "You're right, we can't let Sora and the others live in the art store all the time. It's time to create a big house for our big family." Alvia was more accepting of this idea, a big house, for their big family. This was the second stage of Rob's plan to get his harem in action, but Alvia didn't know her husband's disgraceful thoughts. If she has known that, she would have blown his ass off with her shotgun on the spot. The next morning, the residents of Knowledge Village were surprised by the appearance of a large house. No, this was a palace, not just a house. The palace layout seemed inferior to an art store but higher than any other palace they had seen before. The palace took a large area of its own, relatively far from the village buildings. Rob chose this place and bought an entire palace with his furniture from the system shop. Of course, his system shop was selling the buildings too. The palace alone cost him 150 million art points, but Rob didn't care. This palace with a silver view was worth it. A 2-floors palace, it had everything, has 10 rooms on each floor. Each room can be compared to a luxury room in a 5-star hotel. Each room can be considered as a house in itself because it contains a modern bathroom, kitchen, office, library, and a spacious room like a bedroom. The furnishings were first class also. The moment Alvia saw the luxurious palace, she liked it. She didn't even wonder where he got this from. After all, her husband could bring out even an art store out of nowhere that was even more awesome than this palace. Rob left the matter of housing their new home to his wife and got back to work. Today was a little special because it was the day of the update for the Bleach manga that has started to become popular lately. Since he had finished drawing quite a few volumes, his work was only to fill the shelves with them, which didn't take him much time. Soon he finished it and went back to his beloved Robin. His work was very easy, so he was more than happy to accompany his daughter, who seemed to love his side more than her mother's side. And the proof is that she becomes more enthusiastic in his hands. Just like now, her cute face was laughing happily while she watched her father make as funny faces as possible. The time of day he spent with his baby girl was truly the most precious thing he had. Even if he didn't manage to get a harem as he dreaming, he would be satisfied as long as he could see his baby girl's laugh every day. This was the day of the new Bleach folder update. For this, of course, there will be loyal fans who are eagerly awaiting this. In Mary Geos, for example, who doesn't know that celestial dragons have been asking strange things from their servants lately? Things like, make me dress like Gotei 13 Commanders, or, I want to look like Yoruchi Shihoin. There are even the most extreme who request to get Zanpakuto Ichigo, or Renji, and many others. This was the reason why the celestial dragon's servants and guards had been tired lately. They were suffering more than slaves. Well, they could certainly make clothes similar to Bleach characters, but where would they get Zanpakuto from? If it really existed in this world, it would be considered a priceless treasure and would cause a world war to obtain it. Where would they come up with something so fancy? This just shows how much these mentally ill people love Bleach manga. The moment the release was announced in Mary Geos, a torrent of celestial dragons walked in and served them to the art store to get the volume as quickly as possible. Rob was making too much money to count from this art store alone, worth hundreds of millions of berries every week. At this moment, a strange but temporary silence fell over all the art stores. After all, the reading manga need quiet, no one has the nerve to make a sound. After 30 minutes, enthusiastic voices began to appear again in each store. Of course, the new Bleach volume didn't disappoint this time around. Battle, battle, battle everywhere. This is what the events of this arc, who was really fierce, were like. The excitement of Bleach fans has reached boiling point, due to the many battles this arc contains. Ichigo fight. Rukia fight. Renji fight. Chad fight. Yuria fight. Everyone else got into a fight. Las Noches was in a real chaos now because of Ichigo and his comrades. Arrancar and Ajuchas appeared from everywhere as if they were intent on exterminating all the intruders. If the previous arc was disappointing in terms of intense battles, then this arc, unlike it, was saturated with intense fights. The arc itself was called Arrancar, the Fierce Fight Arc. Inside the Judgment Hall of Pangaea Castle, the five elders stood near a window that overlooked the front of the art store, watching the commotion below with frosty expressions. They were used to this situation now. It would be strange if they didn't see something like this every weekend. I think Ichigo and Grimmjow's fight this time was too strong. Yes, who would have expected Ichigo to cross this obstacle? This Grimmjow is a true fighting freak. He even restrained his ally for the sake of his enemy, and in the end, he lost. What a joke! Someone like him cannot be joined into a coherent organization. Here is Aizen's fault. Yes, even someone like Aizen can't be perfect. Would Lord Emu make a petty mistake like that? Impossible. If Lord Emu was that stupid, we wouldn't have obtained our prosperity for such a long period. The five elders continued their heated discussion, unaware that someone appeared behind them. She sat on the sofa as she began peeling an orange fruit and eating it without caring what her five pampered children were saying. But when she heard them brazenly comparing her to Aizen, her polished brow wrinkled, while her bloody eyes shone with a fierce light. She gently raised her finger and cracked the space below the five elders, then opened a bottomless abyss below them. The moment they sensed this, the color disappeared from their faces, and their expression changed to one of terror. All they could see under their feet was the endless darkness. They were suspended in the air by an invisible force as they proceeded to pray to their stars that this invisible force would not disappear, or they would really end up this time. When they were reminded of the reality again, they began to ask forgiveness for what they had said. Just how could they compare their lord to someone else? Just what were they thinking? You are getting more and more interesting with each passing day. Lord Emu, please excuse our stupidity. Yes, Lord Emu, we will not repeat such foolish nonsense again. Please don't throw us into the dark universe, we will surely die. The five elders knelt before their own lord while wiping the sweat still running down their faces. It was the most terrifying experience they had ever had. Lucky for you, I have an order for you. The five elders continued their silence. They couldn't interrupt their lord as she wanted to order them. You have 1 month to show the world a manga of world government. I want to see a tough competition between you and Rob-chan. If he doesn't have anyone to compete with, he will lose interest little by little and the quality of his work will decrease. So that this doesn't happen, I want you to enter this new market forcefully. Are my words clear? Understood. Good then. Chapter 113, Manga One Piece Hiatus. The anime enter to the global scene. One Piece anime trailer. Ohara. Mihawk and Issue closed today's volume with very satisfied expressions. What a feast for the eyes, this really was the best. So, that man with the daughter complex could create such a masterpiece. This is what you can call swordsman battles on a different level. Bleach manga was extremely valuable not only to swordsmen but even to fighters who used their physical strength and haki. Enriching one's combat knowledge, this was the strongest point that Bleach ever possessed. Unlike One Piece, which has a rich story, the world familiar to readers contributed to One Piece being ranked number 1. What do you think of today's volume? This time it was Issue who asked. The volume speaks for itself. Do I even need to say anything? There were a lot of great surprises. The best, of course, was the fight of Ichigo against Grimmjow. I didn't expect there to be such enhanced abilities as Kaja Negation. Yes, I agree with you. I also liked the battle of Rukia against Arrancar number 9, Aranyero Ararori. It is not easy to fight someone who fights you with face of someone dear to you. Mihawk looked at Rukia, who fainted in the manga after beating her opponent with difficulty, and he said without expression. This teaches a person to be strong in such sensitive situations. The soul needs to be strong, or death will be its companion. Fufufu, these are the excuses of the weak. Since she knows that her previous captain is already dead, she allowed herself to take so much damage just because she was too emotional. This is a bad move. Women really are emotional creatures. Everyone who heard this child's words shivered, especially the women. Everyone knows that Daffy is the son of the kind waitress that everyone loves her, matriarch, a brat who loves to make trouble, but when he talks everyone should shut up and listen to his words because he talks like an adult. There was no doubt that his intelligence was off the rules when compared to his age. Even his little brother Rosinante was embarrassed. Brother, I think Rukia-chan fought well. There is no trick if she was a little sentimental. Her opponent was the vile person. Rosinante, since you are my little brother, I will give you one advice to follow in the future. This world is corrupt, all worlds are corrupt. Wherever there are humans and semi-humans there will be corruption. If you don't keep up with their corruption, you will be easily corrupted. This time even Mihawk, who was indifferent to the children's words, narrowed his eyes when he heard that. No doubt his opponent Rob was too brave to raise such a vicious child. Mihawk takes Rob, his opponent, seriously. Face with tears of joy. On the high seas, in a quiet area, where there was no wind, was this the calm belt, there was an extremely large prison, the only official prison in the world that was widely known. Deep Sea's Prison. Impel Down. The place that contains all kinds of bad and unlucky people in the world. A place as widely known as hell, no one would ever wish to see it in their entire life. The screams of the prisoners resounded almost at every moment, but at this moment no scream was louder than that of young Shiryu. Boom! 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 Magellan! You bastard! Open the toilet door now! Give me the folder now or I'll cut the door! Magellan, who was inside the toilet, his expression turned uncomfortable when he heard that. After he was enjoying his time defecating and reading his favorite manga, this was his best time of the week. Just why is that bastard Shiryu always trying to disrupt his happy mood? I'll finish soon. Will finish soon. Okay, you have 5 minutes. Magellan and Shiryu were 17 years old. They had spent their reigning period together under the world government, and graduated with full marks together. They were recognized talents under the monster rank. Their future was bright. They will be chosen to lead Impel Down in the future for sure. They were now security officers at Impel Down. After 30 minutes, Magellan partially opened the toilet door and threw a Bleach manga book through it. It's really fun. Right after he threw it, he quickly pulled his hand out, fearing that crazy bastard Shiryu would cut it. What the hell is that smell? How can I hold this in my hand? Damn you, Magellan, I swear I'll cut your poison ass off one day. Magellan went back to defecating comfortably without caring for Shiryu's screams. He was used to it after all. How many times has this happened? Oh, yeah, since manga volumes started leaking from Mary Geo's, that's been their only entertainment. Everyone has been reading the manga. Be it a warden chief, an officer, or even an ordinary jailer. The problem, however, is that the quantities leaking to Impel Down are limited compared to what is being leaked to Marineford. Shiryu pressed fury in his heart and carefully watched his surroundings. Seeing that no one had seen him, he grabbed the book and walked away. The volume is under the title Arrancar, the Fierce Fight Arc. Since what's leaking isn't the original book sold by the art store, that can't be leaked, because it's back to its owner the further away it gets. A/N1. If the original folder is kept in a specific place by its owner, it will remain in it even if the owner moves away, but the feature is activated in case it was stolen without the knowledge of the owner. A/N2. Original books can be returned to the art store for a small amount of money. After Shirya finished reading Bleach's new volume, he felt his blood boil. This arc was fun and useful for a swordsman like him. Just as he expected, he could strengthen his sword skill every time he read the Bleach manga. Arg. Disgusting. Shirya threw the book away right after he finished reading it. A week later, an advertisement appeared from all the art stores that made everyone who heard it turn pale. One Piece manga will stop releasing any chapters for a year. What is the meaning of this? This means that the author wants to declare war against them, who were just poor readers. All the islands that had an art store on their territory were shaken by this news. In West Blue, Ohara Island, Frisia Island, Elysia Island, Ballywood Island, Kano Island. In South Blue, Batarilla Island, Sorbet Island, Torino Island, Karate Island. In East Blue, Kanomi Islands, Dawn Island, Gecko Archipelago, Polestar Islands, Shimatsuki Village, Oikeat Island. In North Blue, Flevance Island, Linville Island, Germa Island, Fallen Noble Island, Coon Village. In the first part of the Grand Line, Little Garden Island, Drum Island, Sandy Island, Amazon Lily Island, Skypea Island, Holy Land of Mary Geos. In the second part of the Grand Line, Wano Country, Ring Hell Island, Flying Island Merville, Whole Cake Island. All of these places have at least one art store. And that's why its residents were most affected by the One Piece manga being out of update for an entire year. It was like the end of the world for them. How are they going to live without One Piece for a whole year? They were in a very impressive stage of events blazing in the middle of an arc that was split into two parts. How can the author do that to them? The Celestial Dragons were so angry that they demanded to send the Admiral to force Rob to continue creating One Piece for them. World Queen, Imo-sama, was not satisfied. It happened exactly what she expected, but it was much faster. Is the only person who made her feel interested going to lose this bet now and exhaust all his possibilities? Big Mom was even angrier, to the point of getting into a fit of rage. She will definitely rape Rob the next time she sees him. Kong and Sengoku sighed even though they felt a little bitter. The five elders felt complicated. Although this was a good opportunity for them to enter the new market forcefully, they still wanted to read more of One Piece. The inhabitants of Alabasta, including King Cobra, were saddened. The arc was talking about their kingdom. Just why were they so unlucky this time? Only when their turn came the manga update was stopped. Garp decided to visit Rob and kick his ass over and over to bring the manga back to update. Garp and Dragon have been in trouble lately because of the manga, so they had to stay low. Dragon's reputation has taken a big damage, with rumors circulating in Marineford recently that Dragon wants to rebel. But that doesn't mean they don't want to read the manga. They haven't yet found out more facts about their new future son Ace. While the world was sad and angry, the art store released a second announcement that got everyone a breath of cold air. The art store has released an official trailer for the One Piece anime. The trailer covers the events that the manga has covered so far in the pirate world. On all islands with an art store, the beacon in the sky has been transformed into a large-scale holographic display that everyone on the island can see. A trailer was shown containing 3 minutes of fast-paced action, from Luffy exiting the barrel and encountering Alvida, to Ace blowing up the Baroque Works ships, Billions, with the Flame Fist. The trailer also contains a very awesome suspense song, which made the listener's blood boil. The first opening song for the anime, We Are. The trailer that Rob made was perfect. The anime was so perfect that everyone was dumbfounded. After the long silence, cheers rang out on every island. Chapter 114, Wholesale Trailers. Since the appearance of the holographic display above the art stores scattered all over the world, it hasn't disappeared as many expected, but it has remained permanently the same. It was announced that the addition of live shows, cinema, as an elevation of the market to the next level, anime series will be officially shown from now on. The live viewing via the Art Store Beacon's official screen will be free of charge, but it's a one-time offer only. Only the lucky ones on the lands of the islands that contain the art store can enjoy this transaction. But for people who are not lucky to watch the free show, they can re-watch their favorite shows in the new cinema, which is set up as a new default art store modification in the new live shows section. Now, instead of 3 sections, the art store has 4 sections permanently. Since Rob was someone with a big heart, he made a big modification too. From now on, any anime shown in the art store will be 2 episodes in one. That means the size of the episode will be 46 minutes instead of 23 minutes. This modification was to speed up his steps in the world of anime and make him sweep views across the world so that he doesn't accept competition. The price of watching one episode of any anime is 500 berry. It was half cheaper than a manga volume, but a bunch of episodes accumulated would bring him a lot of money. After all, not everyone would be able to watch his favorite anime on the live show. Isn't it? The trailer of One Piece wasn't the only one shown. In the days that followed, Rob blew fans' minds with 3 more trailers. The first was the Naruto anime trailer. It included a written summary of the story of the first part of Naruto, which talks about saving the 4th Hokage of Konoha Hidden Village from the attack of the legendary Nine-Tails Fox and sealing it inside his newborn, who was born on the same night, sacrificing his life in this heroic act, also that his son could have a happy life because of his sacrifice, but the exact opposite happened and the kindness was returned to hate for his child. The trailer was 3 minutes long and contained quick moments of the appearance of Kyuubi, the 4th Hokage, and the 3rd Hokage, as well as the horrific chaos in Konoha Hidden Village, and then moved straight to the events of Team 7 and the appearance of Kakashi-sensei. The events were in quick succession. All this was accompanied by Naruto's famous sad OST, Sadness and Sorrow. When the trailer was presented in this way, it was very well received by the people. It seemed like a big show with a very big dramatic story, so it started to get a lot of attention even before it was shown. What caught the audience's attention is that this is a new world. Yes, it was a new world. After their world One Piece and the world of Bleach, the world of Naruto came to be the 3rd world to appear in this world. Even before the premiere of the first episode of Naruto was already starting to get its own fandom. That's because the sad OST Sadness and Sorrow stirred up the feelings buried in people's hearts, literally, bringing sweet and bitter feelings to everyone who heard it. They didn't even know yet that this was the world of true ninjas. The next day, the trailer for the Hunter x Hunter anime came. It was a familiar world with standards of another modern world. When people saw this trailer, they subconsciously associated it with the manga of Bleach. There are even those who believed that Bleach manga got an anime like One Piece manga. However, they were wrong this time, because after seeing the trailer of Hunter x Hunter, it turned out that it had nothing to do with Bleach. It was a new world. The trailer of the anime included a written summary of the events, telling the story of a boy named Gon. As the protagonist, Gon sets out from his small island to search for his father, who was a legendary hunter, and in this journey, he goes to become a hunter too. He enters the hunter exam in which only the distinguished wins. There he meets 3 main characters who will be his friends on this journey. They are Killua, Kurapika, and Rio. The action of the trailer was so fast that it showed a small part of the iceberg. This was accompanied by the famous opening song, Departure. Once again the world entered a burning excitement. This was a new anime with no less high standards than One Piece and Naruto. Rob and his family were in the upper courtyard of their new palace watching the new trailer. Since the emergence of the new genre called anime series, Alvia, Toki, and others have not stopped asking Rob about it. But Rob didn't bother with answering them. They'll see everything later. He didn't make the sacrifice to pause the One Piece manga without precautions. This sacrifice was necessary to prepare a platform for the anime's entry into the scene, as well as delaying trouble for a while. Seeing the fuss about the trailer shows in the past days, Rob was satisfied. That kind of reaction was just what he wanted. Although everyone was still frustrated with the hiatus decision, that frustration began to wane as a bit of the real deal emerged, anime series. He prepared everything a long time ago, just for that kind of effect. Plus, he wasn't just doing it for the world, but for himself and for his family too. This world that was without entertainment was boring to an immortal like him. If he didn't bring the rich entertainment from his previous world to here, his life wouldn't be good. The experience of his former world in the field of entertainment will cause this dead world in this field to come back to life. Talents will appear and develop with time, and perhaps Rob and his family, which will only grow with time. They will witness the emergence of new anime and manga made by the people of this world. Why not? That was exactly what Rob want. Rob would be the same spark that starts this world of culture. And of course, he will be the only one who dominates this market, although he welcomes competitors, but no one is qualified enough to compete with him. The next day, as many people expected, the fourth trailer appears. Series Anime Attack on Titan trailer. This time, it didn't look as gentle and fun as before, but an age rating was set for this anime. Before the start of the trailer, a warning with a +12 sign appeared. For children under 12 years old, the series anime will have severe psychological consequences for them, so it's better not to watch the show. This only makes the questions about it become more intense. The world of pirates was not like the world of Earth. It was a world where wars broke out every day, pirates attacked people every day, thousands of people died every day. It was a world of iron and blood. Rob knew that seeing titans devour humans in the most brutal way might not have much effect, but it would undoubtedly scare the shit from the kids. Since he was brought into this world, he was responsible for correcting the values of this world and reducing the damage of evil. Curing the world with his art was Rob's first long-term plan, so this guiding sign will become like balancing things in the future. Rob doesn't want immediate change, it's not reasonable. He wanted to introduce a culture of restraint little by little. Since the Divine Store owner warned them that this new show was bad for children under 12, most of the people heeded his advice and closed their children's eyes. Alvia closed little Robin's big eyes, which were reflecting the lights of the holographic screen hanging above the art store. She is 3 weeks old now. The moment little Robin couldn't see anything, she started crying, which instantly made Rob's ears tremble. Who made my daughter cry? Ah! Alvia, why are you closing the baby girl's eyes? Yash, don't cry, Daddy is here, Daddy is here. Immediately after he took her from her mother's arms, she stopped crying, then showed a peaceful expression and went back to watch the 3D show. Alvia looked at this and was speechless. Didn't you say that children under 12 can't watch your new show? Oh, sweetheart, you don't have to be so adamant. She hasn't even finished her first month yet. What could she possibly understand? Alvia. Toki. Rouge. Sora. Belmere. Matriarch. A group of women looked at him with speechless expressions. Just why was this man always finding a way out for his daughter? They have long lost hope in the man and his daughter. Rob was ridiculously pampering his daughter. He was like a soldier defending his daughter's rights almost every moment. Even before little Robin started demanding her mother's breasts for milk, Rob was anticipating the future and pulled his wife's breasts out from under her clothes and put it in little Robin's mouth 5 seconds before she screamed for food. These events made everyone unable to do anything. More cheers filled every island with an art store after the end of the new trailer of the Attack on Titan anime series. Like its predecessors, the Attack on Titan story summary appears before delving into some fast-paced action. 100 years ago, the human race was on the verge of extinction due to the attack of creatures like humans, but they are very large, reaching 15 meters or more in length and called titans. These creatures have no goal but to eat humans. Not for lunch, but just to eat them. A small percentage of humans survived and took refuge in the middle of a very large wall, 50 meters long. From that time, humans lived in false security within the walls that titans couldn't cross. But after 100 years, the nightmare of titans came back to knock on the doors of humanity with force, announcing the arrival of the day of resurrection. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, the protagonists of this story, are forced to live in an era where the extinction of humanity is very near. Or is this really what's happening? After the summary, rapid events began showing the Survey Corps fighting titans, and titans devouring humans with fun expressions, making the residents of the One Piece world shiver. Even the most courageous people were afraid of these scenes. Only now they understood why this show was marked with +12. This was scary as hell. But there were lunatics in the pirate world who felt that this was exactly the kind of show they preferred. That was exactly what could stimulate their enjoyment. The trailer was accompanied by the sad OSTI water. The popularity of this trailer has reached the same level as Naruto and One Piece. Chapter 115, Garp and Dragon arriving at Ohara. Showing the first episode of One Piece anime. A few days after the trailer's launch event that sparked in global uproar, a dog-headed warship stood in the port of Ohara Island and 4 people disembarked from it. Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp. Navy Captain Monkey D. Dragon. Vice Admiral Tsuru. Navy Lieutenant Guion. The group of 4 people dressed outfit of high-ranking Marines was walking side by side. Everyone who saw them unconsciously gave away for them. You haven't told us yet what brought you here, Tsuru-chan. Garp looked at the black-haired woman. 48-year-old Tsuru was already losing signs of her youth, but she was still a beautiful mature woman. 18-year-old Guion was following her closely from behind. It was as if she was hiding in her shadow. Tsuru glanced at Garp before answering. I have something to settle with that man you came looking for. Oh. Is it about your little sister? I heard he caused some heart devils for her with just a look. That's all the more reason to kick his butt today? There's no need for that, I'll handle him myself. I am so excited, today is the premiere of One Piece anime. What's there to get excited about, man, the manga was better. But the anime series is different from the manga, there will be sounds and movements. That will be more realistic and interesting. Yeah, but even so, I can't really get excited. I'm still frustrated with the author's decision to put the manga on hold for a year. Conversations like this entered the Garp group's ears, sparking their interest. Today? Anime One Piece? What is this? Isn't One Piece in a hiatus for a year right now? Sound and picture? Isn't this a video? Is Sky Sword planning to turn the manga into a video series? Dragon was especially sharp because he could easily interpret what he had heard. Is that even possible? How would he do that? Garp stuffed some donuts into his mouth while wondering about the subject. I don't know, but I don't rule anything out. I think he has the potential to do something outside of our imaginations. But for him to accidentally get people into trouble without asking their permission, that's not acceptable. No matter how thick the dragon's skin was, he still couldn't swallow the trouble the manga had caused to him. He already had rebellious ideas, but that doesn't mean it's the right time for that. But the manga came and scattered all his papers, and because of that, now, he was on the radar of the world government intensely. If not for his father, he would have been arrested a long time ago. Because of that, he had to cancel his rebellious ideas for the time being and patiently wait for the right time. But that doesn't mean that he will make things calm down with the cause of his problems. He had to resolve this issue, whether by force or a truce. He was really happy with the decision to hiatus in the manga for a year. At least he would rest for a year not to think of another trouble that might fall on his head. I didn't expect that so many big shots would come to visit me in my humble home. Please help yourselves, or just think I didn't say anything. Garp was stuffing the sweets on the table into his mouth without caring about Rob's routine words before saying, Your humble home? This is a humble home, you say? Then this old man's home is not even worth a fart. Well, what brings you all here? I suppose the famous marine hero is too busy to pay a special visit for me. I'm not busy at all. You already know what we've coming for it, so don't try to play the fool in front of me, you brat. Here is my son, Dragon, the same person you framed. What a dilemma. Rob thought inwardly, but his face was showing his usual smile. What do you mean by framing your son, Vice Admiral Garp? It's just like I said. Don't try to play the fool in front of me. Well, what if I framed your son, what would you do? Garp's brutal aura trying to pressure Rob hardly had no effect, its only effect being that it made Rob angry. It wasn't just Garp who was baffled by Rob's response, but everyone felt amazement. This guy has the guts to say it. Tsuru looked at Rob and said disdainfully, Kid, you don't know what you're doing. Don't think that just because you have a hand in the world government that means no one can put you to your place. Rob was amazed by the words of this old woman. A hand in world government? What do you mean by that? And what do you have against me too? I suppose Garp and his son have problems with me, but what about you and that girl next to you? Because of you my little sister is no longer as ambitious as she was usual, you affected her spirit severely, you obviously used an unknown method to attack her spirit in Little Garden, the sword intent that she had painstakingly mastered completely shattered and she couldn't longer muster any strength into her sword now, it's all thanks to you. I didn't attack anyone in Little Garden, you better not accuse me indiscriminately, what is my fault if her will is weak? Whoever has no will is better not to carry a sword. Gion squeezed her hand so hard that blood started to fall. Who said I don't have a will? Those devastating words from her fearsome enemy seemed like the motivation she needed to get past this matter that had been holding her back recently. Because her scream carried with it a kind of strength that she had been missing all this time. Tsuru was satisfied with this scream that removed all her little sister's frustrations. She even looked at Rob with gratitude in the exact opposite of the situation a minute ago. She knew this man had said it on purpose to stimulate her inner anger to overcome her fear of him. So, you need maintain that will, you will need it if you want to excel in carrying the sword. Gion took out her famous sword from its sheath and pointed at him before saying, Someday, I will surpass you. Well, that's good, I'll be looking forward to that day with pleasure. Gion was the second swordsman to challenge him after Mihawk. After Gion's issue is settled, Rob turns back to Garp and his son. These two people were a pain in the ass. What can I do for you? I really didn't intend to frame anyone, I only drew what I saw fit. I can forget about this matter if you tell me one thing. What is it? If I can, I will gladly tell you. Tell me, who is Luffy's mother? Rob's face turned pale when he heard that. The hell? How is he supposed to know that? Nobody knows it except for the original author, who is in his previous world. Even Dragon, who had been silently observing Rob since their meeting, he was interested in knowing the answer to his father's question, even though he put up a fake front that he wasn't interested in. Both Tsuru and Gion were amused hearing that. This was very interesting. Brat! Why do you look upset? Garp didn't like Rob's expression at this moment. I can't tell you that. It goes against my principles as an author. Damn your principles as an author. Okay, don't get angry and let me finish my words first, Garp-san. Although I cannot tell you that directly, I can give you a helpful hint. Okay, speak up. Garp seemed unsatisfied, but he still wanted to know what kind of hint this was. Look for crocodile, if it's female, it must be Luffy's mother, if it's male, just forget what I said. Crocodile? Which crocodile? You. Are you insulting my manhood now that you've wiped my reputation off on the ground? I won't allow you anymore. At this moment, Dragon exploded in anger. How could he not know who Crocodile was? Apparently, that's Shichibukai who trying to take over Alabasta in the manga. How could that guy be his wife and Luffy's mother? Isn't that just insulting him? Rob. Garp. Tsuru. Gion. Well, there is a man who can change the genders in your future revolutionary army, so... I'm sorry, just consider me I didn't say anything. Fuck you. Dragon was really angry. 10. 9. 8. 7. On the balcony at Rob's palace, Rob and his Navy guests sat down, after he invited them to watch the premiere of One Piece series. As the countdown continued to dip toward zero, the atmosphere in Ohara became deathly silent, only the sound of a light wind resounding from time to time. This big screen above your store looks so ethereal, not even the Den Den Mushi of video can make such an amazing sight that everyone on a big island can see. That's really amazing. Even Dragon nodded in affirmation at his father's words. In this moment, the atmosphere was quiet in Mary Geos and on the Skypiea, and in Ueno Kuni, and everywhere there is an art store. 3. 2. 1. The familiar opening introduction began to play on the display in ultra-high definition. Wealth, fame, power. The man who owned everything in the world, the pirate King Gold Roger. His last words, he said, has sent people to the seas. My treasure? If you want it, you can have it. Find it. I left everything in that place. Garp sprinkled the tea he hadn't yet swallowed in shock. The hell, that was Roger's voice, it was exactly the same as his voice. Even Suru's eyes narrowed at this amazing scene. She heard Roger's voice before, so she definitely can't get it wrong, that was the real Roger's voice. Elsewhere, Rouge's delicate body trembled before a small tear fell from her eye as if it was a natural response to something so familiar she was feeling nostalgic for. Dear Roger. In the scene of the introduction, many ships appeared, which launched their sails and began sailing in the vast sea. And the narrator was still talking. So men head for the Grand Line in pursuit of their dreams. The world has truly entered a great pirate era. This introduction made the blood of all who watched it boil for an unknown reason. Immediately after that, the famous song We Are began. Musical notes were going to gather up all our dreams. Musical score. Musical notes and set out in search of something to find. Musical score. Musical score. One Piece, musical score. Musical notes compasses only cause delays. Musical note. Musical notes delirious with fever, I take the helm. Musical note. Musical notes. If the dusty treasure map has been verified, it's not a legend. Musical notes. Musical notes when it comes to personal storms. Musical score. Musical notes simply write aboard someone else's biorhythm. Musical score. Musical notes and pretend it isn't there. Musical score. Musical notes we're going to gather up all our dreams. Musical score. Musical notes and set out in search of something to find. Musical score. Musical notes. A coin in my pocket, and do you want to be my friend? Musical note. Musical notes. We are musical notes. Musical notes. We are on the cruise. Musical notes. Musical notes. We are musical notes. After the end of the opening song, and the official beginning of the episode, viewers finally came out of temporary stupor because of the awesomeness of the song, which left everyone who heard it goosebumps. It was the same original opening with the original scenes it contained, but the quality of the presentation was different. Rob did everything he could to improve the old drawing in his memory and make it look more modern. Combined with the display quality, which is no different from 4K, the display has become even more amazing. The first episode began with the appearance of a cruise ship. Two men working on its board pulled a heavy barrel that was floating in the sea that threw by a frightening whirlpool. Silence fell again, and everyone lived with the events in depth. As the show went on, the silence was getting heavier. Whoever was busy with something left it for later. Normal life on many islands that contain an art store was delayed for more than 40 minutes. The people who enjoyed the show the most were those who hadn't read the manga before, but even those who read the manga enjoying by the show. Seeing Luffy sending Alvida fly with a punch, all that in sound and picture. Not the same as seeing it in the manga. Seeing Luffy fend off bullets with his rubber body while laughing so hard and saying, "It doesn't work against me." Not the same as seeing him in the manga either. It was more lively than it was in the manga. By the end of the first episode, viewers felt sorry for not having more episodes. The anime was really cool. Now, everyone is getting excited to see the other upcoming anime. Naruto. Hunter x Hunter. Attack on Titan. Chapter 116, The Frustration of Manga Paws Shrink. The first episode of the Naruto anime. The New World, Wano Kuni. Wano was a very large country and consisted of many provinces, yet everyone from all parts of Wano could see the show very well as if it was very close, of course, all that in their imagination, but in reality, it was very far because its real location was in Kuri. It's the westernmost point of Wano. This was an advantage that the art store had. Through the art store's beacon, the viewer could easily be deceived into thinking that what he was seeing was close to him. The trick that catches the interest of anyone who has entered an island that contains an art store belongs to the same category. Since Wano is so big, that means many people haven't read the manga yet. Even people from the flower capital haven't been able to. After all, the province of Kuri was very far away, so only a lucky minority were able to go to Kuri to enjoy the manga. But the arrival of the anime was an unimaginable surprise for these people. Yesterday, the famous anime, One Piece, was shown. This anime was talking about the outside world, so it had a special effect on the people of Wano who had never come out of Wano before. Even people who read manga in Kuri were happy with the arrival of the anime, no matter if they knew about future events or not. Watching anime of One Piece was more fun than reading the manga. That's why the conversations all over Wano were only about One Piece. with one episode, One Piece's reputation shattering the earth and skyrocketing. Rob's system has also finally leveled up and reached the coveted level 10. What are you doing here, Reizo? Why haven't you gone on your mission yet? Kinemon stood beside Reizo with an angry look. Reizo had cut down a tree and made a chair out of it, and patted the seat, and sat like a king, not forgetting to bring his drinks and the popcorn he had bought at the art store. As if he was sitting in the cinema, he didn't even care to answer Kinemon. His eyes were focused on the still blank screen, impatiently waiting for the new show to start. Kinemon felt anger rising within him. Just why is this bastard causing them trouble? Why is he sitting comfortably here while the others are working? Kinemon, I've already done the mission, why are you so annoying? I'm waiting for my favorite show, as you know. Ha! Finished it? Impossible, Daguzaru. Wasn't your job to deliver the prisoner to Udon? How the hell you did that with this quickly? Don't underestimate of the ninja. As he said that, he no longer cared about Kinemon and returned to focus on the big screen. In a nearby cave, the prisoner that Kinemon spoke of was handcuffed and was placed in a corner while trying to scream for help, but unfortunately, his mouth was so gagged that he couldn't make any sound. The reason for Reizo's enthusiasm was the awaited anime he was talking about. It was going to air today. Naruto anime. Ever since Reizo watched the trailer for this anime, he felt that this was what he wanted to watch. Even One Piece wasn't attracted him as much as Naruto, Hunter wasn't attracted him as Naruto, and Attack on Titan wasn't attracted him as Naruto. For some reason, he felt familiar with this show. It was long overdue and eventually, the display lit up again and a countdown timer appeared to tell viewers to get ready. When the show begins, no sound will echo into the sound of the show. Even if one doesn't want to watch, one will have to watch, because there is no room for not watching. The screen was really killer. Unless you leave the island, you will have to watch. 3, 2, 1, 0. By the end of the countdown, everyone's eyes were focused on the display. Since yesterday's episode of One Piece anime was of a high standard, expectations for the Naruto anime were higher. Naruto has no manga, this means that no one knows what is and what is to come, so they just have to watch it and judge it. If it is good or bad, it will be shown in the first episode. In the show, the moon appeared in the night sky, and right after that a scary beast with 9 tails appeared. Just his appearance made the viewers shiver, his size was just too huge. The narrator's voice started to speak right after that, it was like the voice of an old man. A long time ago, a huge demonic fox appeared, it had 9 tails, with one twist of its tail, it could destroy mountains and create mighty waves. Delay him until the 4th Hokage arrives. We can no longer. Then one of the ninjas risked his life to seal the fox, he was called the 4th Hokage. Immediately after the intro ended, the opening song started playing, rocks followed by the appearance of Naruto, the protagonist of the story, causing trouble by daubing the Hokage's faces with paint. The appearance of the demonic fox drew everyone to focus intensely on the events, so everyone was enjoying the interaction of Naruto and his teacher Iruka-sensei. BFT. Ha 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 ha. This is funny. Ha 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 ha. This kid Naruto is definitely troublesome. What a fun kid. Could he be the protagonist of this world? Even a protagonist can fail the graduation exams. Ha 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 ha. What, wait? Did they just say ninja? Ninja. They are implementing transformation technique. I hadn't noticed that before, but is this a ninja world? The sounds of laughter and astonishment were heard everywhere after Naruto implemented the seduction technique, causing a nosebleed for Iruka-sensei, but this caused an astonishing collective realization: this world was supernatural too. A world where ninja techniques can be used. Wano was in a special frenzy because Wano is the ninja country of this world. Reizo's breathing was getting rougher as the episode progressed, the popcorn was tossed away, he could no longer bear to bother himself chewing not to miss a single moment. It was for this reason that he felt familiar with this anime. It wasn't just him. In the Flower Capital, the Pro-Shogun Ninja Squad led by Fukurokujo gathered to watch the new anime. Their eyes were wide in shock. Just seeing divine techniques that they wouldn't be able to do in this life being performed by a group of kids made them feel very embarrassed. How do they deserve the title of ninja anyway? The action of the episode continued to progress, as Naruto lost in the graduation exam and sat with a blank expression on the seesaw, causing viewers wanting to cry. Seeing the scene of two adults mocking Naruto, who was the only one to fail the exam, the viewers felt their hearts turn cold. They didn't know why those people hated the kind kid, Naruto. There was even a group of celestial dragons who started cursing at the women who spoke ill of Naruto. As the episode continued, the story began to become clear. Because of Mizuki's plan, Naruto stole the forbidden scroll and mastered one technique of it. Then Irika-sensei appeared, and then the first villain, Mizuki, who was after the scroll. The drama between Naruto and Irika caused the faint-hearted to cry very quickly, but even the toughest could feel their eyes going misty. The sad story of Naruto combined with the sad Ost can move mountains, not to mention the feelings of humans. The pirate world was full of orphan children without fathers, but that didn't mean that these people couldn't be moved for this reason alone. Sigh. If Naruto turns out to be the demonic fox, oh my god. Are you an idiot? The synopsis of the story said that the demonic fox had been sealed in the fourth Hokage's child. Ah. So, isn't Naruto that child? Oh my god. I've understand the synopsis just now because of this episode. Finally, the episode reached an exciting moment that made everyone scream with enthusiasm. Naruto had shown up a legendary technique that made everyone take a breath of cold air. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He saved his teacher by easily defeating Mizuki with this skill. And he got the qualification to be a real ninja. The episode didn't end here as it was supposed to. The shape of the village with 4 heads carved into the mountains had a wonderful visual effect, which everyone who saw it admired. This was a ninja world. Just thinking about this made everyone excited to see how ninjas fight. Even the 5 elders were betrayed by their excited expressions. They didn't even show such exciting expressions in yesterday's One Piece episode. Naruto's rejected image caused yet another fit of laughter that extended to all corners of the earth, the fits of laughter only rising when the seduction jutsu appeared again that affected even on the Hokage, the highest authority in the village. This comedy even rivaled One Piece. The entry of the 4RD Hokage's grandson, Konohamaru, who had fallen on his own, only caused more comedy. Just why are the kids of this world so troublesome? From the conversations of Naruto and his new student Konohamaru, the viewers learned about chakra, which was the dominant energy in the ninja world. The masters of the pirate world immediately associated it with Haki, and the Wano people associated it with Ryu, who was the same as Haki. The energy of the body was extracted from the cells. This was the chakra. Mixing it with the spiritual power would lead to mastery of ninjutsu. Haki was almost the same because it depends on stamina, but its basis is willpower, that is, spiritual power. But this world lacks chakra despite the presence of spiritual power. Female transformation rehearsals and Konohamaru's failed attempts made the atmosphere more comedic. Viewers laughed to tears. This was a really exciting show. From drama to comedy, everything was wonderfully balanced. After hearing the story of Naruto from the mouth of the 3rd Hokage again, Reizo wiped his teary eyes again, about the 4th Hokage's seal of the Kyuubi in Naruto, who was just a newborn at the time, and about the cold and despicable looks that the civilians and their children gave to Naruto. This kind of treatment was very frightening. If Naruto didn't turn to the path of evil because of them, that was truly unimaginable. Above Pangaea Castle, Imo-sama was watching the first episode of the Naruto anime with a very satisfied expression. When she saw how Naruto defeated Konohamaru teacher with the harem jutsu technique, she felt a tickle for the first time. This was really a dangerous technique for men. This new anime was a bit perverted. Chapter 117, The Frustration Shrink Again. The first episode of Hunter x Hunter. Ohara. Naruto? What an interesting story. Yes, I think it would be good to watch it from now on. Father and son both looked at each other and saw the appreciation in each other's eyes. Gion stealthily wiped her eyes were already teary. Every time Naruto's sad drama started, she was subconsciously affected by it. Her personality now, in her adolescence, was a far cry from her personality in her mature nature in the future. Tsuru shook her head seeing that but didn't say anything. Even she was moved by Naruto's story, let alone Gion. She wasn't the type to deny liking something good and worthy of it, but as a high-ranking Navy, she couldn't admit the works of the pirates. She wasn't as thick-skinned as Garp and his son. Garp looked toward the already darkened screen and felt unwilling. How can this be leaked from Mary Geos? It's a weekly show, but how are we going to watch it every week? Dragon thought for a moment before saying. Maybe it will be leaked by Den Den Mushi for filming. Why did you create a sad story like this? What's the point of making a child an orphan? As if that wasn't enough, you made the people give him cold hate looks. Didn't you feel pity for the child? Rob, who was holding little Robin in his arms and playing with her happily, thought for a while before saying. Because this kind of story depends on the suffering of its protagonists to become meaningful. Alvia was confused by her husband's answer. When he noticed that she didn't understand, he added. In the ninja world, everyone will suffer the same. Naruto's life may be difficult at its beginning, but it will get better with time, but some may have an opposite life of Naruto life. You have to watch the story to understand everything. This is only the first episode, still there are a huge number of episodes. Alvia wasn't completely convinced by his words. I was completely touched by the sad story of Naruto because his father sacrificed his life to save the village. Doesn't it make sense for his child to gain the approval and love of the civilians? He was the son of a hero, after all, so even if the beast that destroyed the village was sealed in him, that didn't justify their hatred of him. The question now is how will she react to her daughter's past? After all, it wasn't the kid who destroyed the village back then, was it? Don't they know this simple truth? If Alvia can deduce it, how can other viewers not deduce it too? It's just that no one understands why everyone, except Irika and the third Hokage, treats Naruto in such a cruel way. Well, when the plot unfolds well they will understand at that time. The point is, the Naruto anime got a huge fanbase in its premiere. How could not, and it be the #1 eternal rival of One Piece anime? Rob didn't choose his anime randomly, all he chose, in the beginning, is a real masterpiece that will make the viewer's blood boil since the first episode. One Piece's different approach, with its funny interface, made everyone think that One Piece's story is just a fun adventure story, but the shocks will start when the main character's stories begin to unfold. Everyone who thinks One Piece is just for adventure. They will cry with tears of blood at that time, they will not be ready at all. Nami, Usopp, Chopper, those three were the main characters in the manga, they all showed their painful pasts, but that wasn't everyone who followed the manga like the anime, but when it appears in the anime, it will be a different story, the drama will not be less than that of Naruto at all. The next day. In Mary Geos, the domain of gods was very quiet, with no room for disturbing noises. This is because the display above the art store has lit again, the countdown will start at any time. The new anime will be shown today. Hunter x Hunter. This was the anime about hunters. What kind of hunters? Are they like pirate hunters? If they weren't, what kind of hunter is this show talking about? Everyone was excited to find out. The previous shows, One Piece, and Naruto left them with such high standards that if Hunter isn't as good as the previous ones it's best not to air it. They are used to the best things from the art store, whether manga or anime, the store has been offering them the best among the best, classic works that viewers can enjoy forever. Undoubtedly, One Piece, which has manga and anime, got a lot of likes and credits, it was the most popular of all time, but even other shows like Bleach and Naruto got liked by many, especially Bleach. Because Naruto still hasn't proven himself in fans' hearts, one episode is not enough. Yesterday, the ninja world caused a huge commotion that is still going on today. So everyone has high expectations for the Hunter's world. What will this show give them? In Wano, Naruto got a lot of veneration that he didn't get anywhere else. The ninja world has become such a paradise that Reizo, Shinobu, and other veteran ninjas wish to enter after death. Wano ninjas have gone crazy by researching the basics of chakra. Yesterday, after the end of the first episode of the show, the country's official ninja guild held an urgent and secret meeting, whose title was Shadow Clone Jutsu. Everyone was trying to master this divine technique. Reizo was also trying to learn. He had finally found a target in the limited ninja path for him. He had to learn the techniques of the ninja world at any cost. It begins. The countdown has begun. One of the ugly celestial dragons screamed, he was so excited that he screamed with all his might that his saliva sprayed everywhere. He wasn't the only one, as many like him screamed with joy when they saw the familiar countdown appear again. What does the countdown mean on the store screen? This means that a new show was coming. 2, 1, 0. The sun rose in the opening song and the song departure started to warm the fans' hearts. Musical score awaken as you plant your foot forward, musical score. Musical score head out with the smile of an angel, musical score. Musical score take me with you. Musical score. Musical notes you can smile again, musical notes. The opening song continued to play. This was the 2011 version in his previous world produced by Madhouse Studio, but with Rob's professional touch, the show became even more amazing in the eyes of viewers. The scenes featured in the opening song made the expectations of viewers even stronger. This is definitely going to be a great show, and this is what actually happened with the introduction of the episode and the beginning of the narrator speaking. A frightening beasts, wondrous creatures, buried riches, hidden treasures, lands surrounded by evil, and others unknown and untouched by humans. The word unknown carries magic. And some superhuman beings were obliterated between the folds of that magic. These people are known as hunters. Just this introduction made everyone gasp with excitement. Are these hunters? Wow! Kujira Island appeared, and soon there was a scene of Gon, the protagonist of this story, hunting the Lord of the Lake in such a splendid way that the audience applauded. The Lord of the Lake that Gon had caught couldn't even compare to half the size of a 10-meter sea monster, not a sea king. But even so, given Gon's young age, his success in hunting the Lord of the Lake from this size at this age was an achievement that even the children of the pirate world couldn't do. He'd rather be a hunter than his son, isn't that a great job? Gon's words not only made Kido-san dumbfounded, but all the viewers in the pirate world were dumbfounded by this words as well. What a strange child. After boarding the ship, viewers discovered that Gon was a navigator by innate. What a powerful innate skill, he could even wonderfully smell an oncoming storm. This was similar to Nami's natural talent. Seeing how these hunter exam candidates were affected by a small storm, the inhabitants of the One Piece world got a tickle. What a farce! If they were in the Grand Line, they would have already died with such a weak spirit. After seeing how the captain managed to steer his ship in such a splendid manner, even the people of C's world were impressed. After hearing Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio's reasons for taking the hunter's exam, viewers felt even more interested. Gon wants to follow in his father's footsteps. And Kurapika wants revenge. And Leorio wants money and luxury. It turns into a conflict between Kurapika and Leorio, which ends with an unexpected rescue scenario in which the heroes are Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika after they rush to save Katsu, who was thrown off the ship by a sea hurricane. What a soul! Gon is so brave. Gon is so pure. Leorio and Kurapika have good hearts too. Dr. Hiruluk wiped the remnants of the drink from his mouth before commenting on this wonderful scene. Just as he had all the good feelings for Naruto yesterday, he couldn't deny how amazing this kid Gon was today. Koreha and Trafalgar Chris continued watching without comment. The first half of the episode ended with all three successfully qualifying for the first test by the ship's captain. The second half began with the ship arriving at Doll Port safely, the place where they will take their next hunter exams. Even though the comedy weren't as good as Naruto and One Piece, someone like Leorio added a fun vibe to the anime. When the next exam started, all the viewers were excited. What they didn't know was that what Gon and his friends had encountered so far weren't even the starting tests. Your son and daughter have been kidnapped, and you can only save one of them. Choose between them, who will you save? What an annoying question. After hearing this, Koreha gave a meaningful smile without saying anything, as Hiruluk frowned and Chris shook his head in surrender, before answering. Hiruluk, I think I'll try to save both of them. Chris, I don't have kids yet. Of course, I would save my daughter if I had one, but you will go to hell. Garp looked at Dragon and said expressionlessly while scratching his nose. Dragon scowled angrily before shouting, Who wants you to save him, old man? All over the world, smart people and stupid tried to solve this complex puzzle before its solution appeared on the show, just to get praise from each other. After knowing that silence was the correct answer, both the smart and the stupid who squandered their answers felt embarrassed. You must be prepared to face the worst situations because the calamities of the world come without warning. You must prepare for the day when your path will branch. Gon's attitude and examiner old woman's words were the most important part of the puzzle and the best that viewers had ever heard. Parents held their children tightly as if they were afraid that something might happen to them. The show continued to advance as viewers focused on upcoming auditions. Gon's success in distinguishing between the two similar magical beasts garnered many gasps of admiration from viewers. All of these tests are to qualify for access to the test place. This got everyone excited for the real tests. Gon and his friends are enjoying a short trip across the sky. They haven't reached the starting line yet. With these words from the narrator, the first episode of the Hunter anime ended with the enthusiastic ending song Just Awake. And it got a lot of applause. It was a really fun episode. Chapter 118, Attack on Titan is about to enter. Roger Pirates and Whitebeard Pirates in Ring Hell. Hunter x Hunter was widely accepted by the inhabitants of the One Piece world. Those who watched yesterday's episode naturally felt that they were on a date with another great story. Although some felt that it was good, but it's not as great as Naruto and One Piece because they haven't seen any kind of superpowers yet. Only advanced episodes can change the opinions of these people. In Rob's palace. Mother-san, please prepare to feed Robin-chan. When she heard this, Alvia let out a chuckle and gently took the baby girl out of her husband's arms. You are really very good as an alarm clock. Rob smiled but didn't refute it. For the sake of his daughter he would happily be an alarm clock, and their guest as parents is to take good care of their children. But for Rob, just good care isn't enough, they have to take perfect care of Robin until it's enough. But there's one more thing that makes him want to be her alarm even though Alvia doesn't need a warning about feeding her baby girl. This wonderful sight in front of him was worth it. The sight of his wife feeding his daughter, little Robin's satisfied expression while sucking her mother's breasts, making Rob feel happy every time he sees this angelic sight. After she finished feeding Robin, she handed her over to her father before returning to the kitchen to continue preparing lunch. Since they got their big house, her role in the kitchen became major. Her cooking skills weren't very good at first, but with the help of Toki, Rouge, and the rest she became a professional in the kitchen with time. In fact, Rob can only buy ready-to-eat meals from the system shop, but when he sees his wife's effort to be the perfect wife he can no longer buy any food and leave everything about their family meals to Alvia and the rest. After a delicious lunch, everyone sat on the balcony of the palace, their favorite place, waiting for the start of the new show. The times for showing new anime, every week, are One Piece, Sunday. Naruto, Monday. Hunter x Hunter, Tuesday. Attack on Titan, Wednesday. They all broadcast at 4 p.m. This was the best time to broadcast, as most people would have finished their work, and their nap time began in this time. But with the arrival of the manga first and the anime next, many people's lifestyles have changed. Currently, on the 4 days of broadcasting at exactly 4 p.m., people go out of their homes to watch the new episodes, sitting on chairs near their doors while happily discussing the topics of the new episodes. This has become a habit. It has been so good that everyone is grateful for Rob who brought such wonderful times into their regular lives. The nap time has been cancelled and replaced by watching the anime. The next show will be a little scary. I suggest you close the children's eyes. Yes, since Rob-sama suggested this, we should listen to him. I don't want my children to see people devoured by titans. Actually, I'm starting to get scared too. Throughout O'Hara, mothers and fathers began to cover their children's eyes or shut the doors of homes on them while children of 8 years and older rebelled. Doflamingo and Rosinante were the first to rebel against this decision. Why should they close their eyes? They wanted to see the show too, so no matter how scary it was, it couldn't scare everyone, right? Matriarch and Humming had trouble convincing their children not to watch the upcoming show, so they had to turn to Rob to solve this problem for them. If they get scared, they don't deserve to be my disciples. You don't have to pressure them not to watch the show, they will hear the sounds anyway. Just let them watch. That was Rob's answer. When they heard this they felt betrayed. Wasn't it you who advised us not to let our children watch the show? Doflamingo was 11, while Rosinante was 9. They were still kids already, but to Rob, these aren't normal kids anymore, they were his disciples who would terrorize his future enemies. If they are just afraid of a TV show, they really don't deserve to be his disciples. In the new world, Ring Hell Island. Although it was almost destroyed, it has turned into a pirate's paradise once again. The place that contains the art store cannot remain unknown forever. With the recent appearance of the anime, this island has become more important in the hearts of pirates and visitors. A few days ago, Rob had stopped great chaos on this island, where many powerful pirates who wished to occupy the place had arrived. But when Rob arrives and is declared that he is the owner of the island and the owner of the art store, the chaos immediately stops. Rob's reputation in the new world has only recently become big. Since the Big Mom Tea Party, everyone now knows that Big Mom and Skysword are allied. This news had rocked the new world for quite some time now. This means that the Roger Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates also became allies. Because few people know that Rob is no longer a member of Roger Pirates yet, so everyone thought about this terrifying possibility. Rob allowed everyone to use his stores as long as they didn't cause trouble, so the once chaotic island became a safe paradise for pirates of all kinds. With the recent appearance of the anime, anyone who entered the island refused to leave it. Everyone was expecting more fun shows and was eager to watch the anime. The first was One Piece, then Naruto and Hunter x Hunter. Each one was better than the other, so what's next? At this moment, two amazing ships stopped on Ring Hell Island. When the people near the shore saw the two ships coming from opposite directions, the color disappeared from their faces and they ran with all their might to inform their commanders of the coming disasters. The Whitebeard Pirates and Roger Pirates were here. Gorarara! Looks like that of fate after all. Boom! Whitebeard's weapon met Roger's sword, causing mass destruction in the area. The pirates ran madly towards the art store to hide inside. Their luck was really bad. How could two monsters meet at their favorite place? Wahahaha! Newgate, I didn't expect to see your annoying face here. I have a deal with your former crew member and that's where we agreed. Your face is the nuisance here. Oh. Is that really it? The Roger Pirates members were dumbfounded after hearing this. What kind of deal did Rob make with Whitebeard? After making a deal with Big Mom, he even went to Whitebeard. This is madness. After that little collision that split the beach in half, the two of them stopped fighting and were forced to take care of something. What was that big screen that lit up above the art store? Suddenly a countdown from 10 began. Seeing this, the pirates prepared for the new show and forgot two monsters behind their backs. The Roger Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates also sensed that something unusual would happen after 10 seconds. But the important question now is, why the hell are there so many people here? Chapter 119, Attack on Titan, first episode. New World, Ring Hell Island. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The countdown is over and the first episode of Attack on Titan has officially started. The first thing that appeared was the reflection of the birds in Aaron's eyes. It was as if he was mired in his memories. Then a huge bloody hand appeared on the pictures. On that day, mankind regained a terrible memory. Then, the frightening bloody face of a Titan appeared that seemed to be extremely huge, but to the inhabitants of Pirate World, its size could be compared to an immature sea king. We have lived in fear of Titans. And we have been disgraced by living in these cages that we call fences. After this incomprehensible introduction to the viewers, a group of people appeared riding horses and racing against time to eliminate a target of some kind. In the end, it turned out to be a Titan. Humans were really fighting Titans. What an amazing flexibility! Even Roger, who had been watching everything in amazement until now, could not help but praise the agility of these men who were in the process of maneuvers to eliminate the Titan. Yeah, amazing. I've never seen a style of swordplay like this before. Even Whitebeard complimented it. The scene stops before the result of the attack on the Titan appears and the famous opening song of Guren no Yumiya suddenly starts playing. Musical score: Are you the food? No, we are the hunter. Musical score. Musical score: Not knowing the name of the trampled flower. Musical score. Musical score. The fallen bird yearns for the wind to come. Musical score. Musical score. No matter how much you pray, nothing will change. Musical score. Musical score. What changes this moment is the determination to fight. Musical score. Musical score. You pigs that sneer at the resolve to climb over corpses and advance. Musical score. Musical score. Have peace as livestock, live in false prosperity, and be as free as starved wolves. Musical score. Musical score. The humiliation of entrapment is our cue to counterattack. Musical score. Musical score. Beyond the castle wells lies a hunter killing his prey. Musical score. Musical score. With a surging killer impulse scorching his body. Musical score. Musical score. He pierces the dusk scarlet with a crimson arrow. Musical score. The eyes of viewers all over the world widened from the beginning of the opening song to its end. That was great. This song made everyone who heard it shivering with excitement. Its words were completely understandable to the viewers. It carried with it the cries of a persecuted and deprived of freedom. Is this not similar to the suffering of slaves in this world? The slaves in Mary Geos felt their blood ignite after hearing this song. They would have started a sudden rebellion had it not been for Rob's words still echoing in their minds. To you, 2,000 years from now. This was the title of the episode. The viewers didn't understand it, so they subconsciously ignored it. They were excited to see the new show. What effect would it leave on them? Would it really be as scary as the store owner said? Aaron woke up from his frightening memories, even crying for no apparent reason. I think I had a very long dream. These were Aaron's words to Mikasa. Viewers got goosebumps after seeing a glimpse of Aaron's dreams. So that's what it means to be a protagonist? After the protagonist, the world was taken seriously by viewers. This was the world of Titans, a world where humans are on the verge of extinction, as they think. Through the buildings it looked a bit like the level of advancement in their world. Even the cannons were almost the same. Yeah, I realize that we may not be able to go out, but that way we'll live longer and eat and sleep, but we live like cattle. Those words said by a kid surprised not only Hannes but all the viewers from the pirate world. How can a mere kid say such big philosophical words? Roger and his crew were impressed. Whitebird and his crew were also impressed. All the pirates of Ring Hell Island felt the admiration of Aaron in their hearts. Well said. Boy. Roger was thinking that if such a kid was in the pirate world, he would definitely have become a big person. The episode continued to progress, and the issue of Aaron joining the Survey Corps surfaced. But what is this Survey Corps? When the Survey Corps returned, viewers discovered that they were the same people who were riding horses at the beginning of the episode and fighting titans with amazing flexibility and agility. But after seeing their miserable condition, the people of the pirate world felt a shiver. What dangerous world is this? They could only bring back a hand from a fellow warrior. What a poor mother, who couldn't even get recognition for her son's sacrifice, because despite his sacrifice there was no progress. What cruel world was this? Only now did the viewers realize that sorrow in this world, which was obviously an ordinary world without superpowers except for the incomprehensible titans, had a deep sadness and touching drama that perhaps even Naruto and One Piece couldn't compete with. Some scenes that could only be observed by those with sharp eyesight, such as Roger and Whitebeard, appeared. The blonde-haired man clearly had a commanding aura, Erwin. When his eyes met those of the happy-faced Aaron, he immediately turned his face, probably because he had already been like Aaron in the past. He doesn't want to give false hope to the kid so that he will not join them and kill himself like so many before him. Roger and Whitebeard's interest in the show has grown more and more than ever. The episode continued, with Father Grisha and Mother Carla appearing. Everyone understood the mother's refusal to let Aaron out of the safety fences. But no one understood the father's position, who didn't seem to refuse. All he did was ask his son a question. Why do you want to go out? Aaron's answer won the praise of almost all pirates. Just why does this kid have the spirit of a pirate from their world? After hearing the father talk about the vault he kept hiding from his son, everyone wanted to know what was in that vault. When Armin first appeared, he reminded viewers of Kurapika right away. They looked alike to each other, but that didn't matter too much. The point was that he was the third main character to appear so far. What surprised viewers once again was a group of kids getting scared of Mikasa and running away due to her arrival. Why was this? Isn't she just a little girl? Roger, When Armin started talking about how foolish it was for people to believe that the fences would protect them forever, Roger's expression changed to a dark one, as if he had anticipated a horrific event to come. He sighed slowly and continued watching. Only Whitebeard noticed that. At that moment yellow lightning exploded from the sky. Even the viewers from Pirate World shook in fear. What a hell! That was so surprising. The same scene that appeared at the beginning of the episode was repeated again, and it must be said that the disaster has already begun. That huge bloody hand, and that huge head. A horrific titan with a size of 60 to 70 meters appeared outside the walls out of nowhere and began to destroy them. Because of his destruction of the walls, the smaller titans were able to enter Shiganshina town and roam freely and devouring humans happily. The carnage that made the bravest people of the pirate world shiver in terror began. One kick from the colossal titan unleashed a lot of power. It was a kind of strength that even in the pirate world's balance of power would be considered respectable. This devastation and bloodstained grounds were nothing foreign to the pirate world, but dying in this way was extremely terrifying. On Little Garden Island, Bragi and Dory crushed the ground in anger. These aren't giants, they are just oversized demons. Dory shouted angrily. Bragi also did the same. This is so disgraceful. Those smiles on their faces really disgust me. When Aaron started running towards his house, the viewers sensed something was wrong. It is better if Mother Carla is well, or else they will take a trip to find the author of this work. Unfortunately, her legs were crushed by the house that fell on her and she was stuck unable to move. When Hannes-san appeared and announced that he would kill the Titan and save the three, the viewers felt very comfortable. The author was really kind. But after a moment the situation turned 180 degrees. It is clear that the author doesn't care about their wishes. He crushed it in the harshest way possible. Even the most ruthless viewers didn't expect a scene like this. Hannes was terrified when he saw the smiling Titan. The viewers were horrified when they saw the smiling Titan. From what hellhole did this Titan come out? Hannes-san returned without hesitation and carried Aaron and Mikasa on his shoulders and ran with his tail between his legs. The Sados started, the scene of Carla crying and saying "Don't leave me so sad," the mother's tears flowed, the fathers couldn't see this cruel scene anymore. Roger and Whitebeard both felt sad about this woman's fate. Was this just a fantasy? Why it was so harsh? Don't leave me. The mother's last words were the trigger that killed viewers. When the smiling Titan picked up Mother Carla stuck in the wreckage, the viewers felt their blood run cold. Where was this going? Stop. Irene screaming at this moment added an air of intense sadness to the scene that quickly turned into a terrifying scene. Carla was still resisting at the Titan's hand, but for a moment she was crushed and bitten off. Drops of her blood scattered and stained the sky of Shiganshina. Then the words of the beginning of the episode were repeated to illuminate the minds of the viewers with understanding. So if this show definitely wanted to crush their feelings. On that day the human race regained a terrible memory. We have lived in fear of Titans. And we have been disgraced by living in these cages that we call fences. Here ends the first part of the episode. A long silence covered all the areas that had an art store in their territory. Chapter 120, the episode of Aote continues to stir the emotions of the pirate world. A century ago the human race faced a new enemy. The difference was huge between the strength of the human race and the strength of the newly discovered enemy. Until they are nearly extinct. The human survivors erected 3 lofty walls, Maria, Rose and Sina. They lived for nearly a century in peace, sheltering in it. But the images of the destruction and the scattered remains of the corpses reappeared on the screen in the second part of the episode. But even so, viewers are still dumbfounded and don't know how to act anymore. The scene of devouring Mother Carla was still stuck in their minds and repeated over and over again. As a result of the bad scene, many women vomited what they had eaten for lunch. Didn't the store owners say that this show only children can't watch? But why does it seem that even adults can't watch it? The rebellious children who were watching the show against their parents' desire shivered in fear. not daring to raise their heads since the appearance of the Colossal Titan. From now on, the Colossal Titan will become the title of their nightmares. But Doflamingo and his brother Rosinante were watching the show without fear, but their eyes could be seen twitching from time to time. No matter how strong their courage, the new show affected them deeply. Even older men felt this was horrible, let alone children. O'Hara wasn't the only one, but in Batarilla, in Flevance, in Kano Country, in Ueno, in Alabasta, and all the places with an art store, most viewers felt the same. Only some crazy people who were mostly pirates and criminals, like Shiki pirates, Big Mom pirates, and mixed pirates in Ring Hell felt that this anime was their favorite dish. That's what it means to watch anime. How will weak humans survive facing titans who want nothing but to eat them? They really wanted to see it. The anime also caused the return of the celestial dragon madness that had been buried with the positive vibes provided by the previous shows. The negative emotions displayed by Attack on Titan allowed some celestial dragons to remember their past selves. Weren't they like titans? They can do whatever they want without anyone daring to stand in their face. Humans were to them like cattle. This group of celestial dragons laughed as they shouted that they liked this show. Subsequent scenes of humans being captured and devoured by titans caused viewers to shiver in terror. What world was this? The small towns surrounded by walls in the style of Shiganshina designed a bait to lure the titans and thus reduce costs and the number of defense forces, and as a result of this engineering design, the residents of Shiganshina could only escape from the attack of the titans through the inner gate. The moment the armored titan appeared, many people sucked in a breath of cold air. This titan was different. Why did it seem so smart, unlike other titans? When he started running to destroy the wall, viewers were terrified to think what would happen next. This was not expected at all. A direct cannon strike hit him, but that had absolutely no effect. With a single collision of the armored titan, the inner wall was completely destroyed. The viewers' mouths were open in shock. They will be erased from this world. I will kill them all. I will not leave any of them alive. Aaron's angry words pierced the hearts of the viewers. They felt his anger and intense hatred at this moment. Alvia cried after seeing this, and Rob had to try to calm her down. Rouge couldn't control her tears anymore and she started crying too, as did Sora, Toki, and the others too. Rob couldn't help but try to comfort them with words. He regretted showing this anime, although he was initially enthusiastic about it, but seeing the reactions to the first 2 episodes made him rethink his momentary decision to show this anime. He can feel fear, horror, anger, hate, and many more emotions coming from all parts of Ohara by observation hockey. The people of Ohara were reacting to the show with all their most primal feelings. They were treating Aaron's world like a real world that exists, and Aaron, the little kid, had already suffered such a calamity. His suffering, which turned into an intense hatred, caused them to be unable to hold their bitter feelings any longer. Even the fiercest of men felt very sad. On the flying island, Merville, Shiki broke the sake cup he was holding out of anger while cursing constantly. Why did this show cause so many emotions to explode inside his heart? Now he was really hoping to crush some titans. On Whole Cake Island, Lin was also very angry. These crazy titans were provocative to her. She really wanted to obliterate them. She wished she existed in that world to crush them all. Of course, she wasn't linking them to the important giants in her heart. On Ring Hell Island, the cries of angry pirates resounded. This show was really nerve-wracking. These titans went too far in bullying human. Roger and Whitebird were both silent, but their expressions were also disturbed. Aaron's words had affected them deeply. It is not easy to reach the stage of extreme hatred without going through the gates of hell. Now, they were sure that the titans had gone crazy and had created a truly terrifying enemy from Aaron. What a miserable child. These were Roger's words. In the Kingdom of Drum, although the weather was cold, the viewers' bodies were warm with their blood blazing with anger. The main characters on this island couldn't say anything, just their angry facial expressions were enough to say it all. For Dr. Kureha, it was easy to feel happy, but hard to feel angry. The long years of her life made her feel dull. That's why she was fond of that man's manga and anime, because it helped her regain a lot of feelings. But now with this show, Rob managed to make her regain all her feelings, including anger. Dr. Hirolik was also angry, after feeling pity and sadness and even crying over the fate of Mother Carla, he was angered by the intense feelings of hatred that Aaron's words were able to convey directly to his heart. Even a kind person like Dr. Trafalgar felt the same. He wanted to save lives, but these titans were treating these lives as food. How not to get angry? The first episode ran on the show until the end. 10,000 people were devoured on that dark night. This huge number of deaths caused an absolute shock. The incomprehensible scenes of Aaron with his father caused a lot of confusion. What was Father Grisha doing? Was this just a dream? Why would he want to inject him with that syringe? And what did it contain? The vault was mentioned again, which brought back doubts and hypotheses about it to the fore. The scene of Mikasa when she punched Aaron who was scolding Armin. The scene when she forced him to eat while telling him she wouldn't let him starve to death, was touching as hell. A year later, in order to solve the problem of food shortages, 250,000 people were sent back to the Wall Maria to restore it on the facade, but they were sent to feed the titans. If the previous number was shocking, this number could have caused insanity. What kind of world was this? Even celestial dragons would be ashamed to do that. Combined with the sad host, viewers felt their hearts turn cold. At the end of the episode, baby Aaron becomes an adult boy and a warrior soldier. Contrary to Rob's expectation, after the end of the show, his system nearly exploded from the amount of arc points and EXP points he had received. Because of that, Rob knew his prediction was wrong. Attack on Titan has become everyone's favorite anime since its first episode. It even outperformed One Piece, Naruto, and Hunter. That wraps up this part of becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Quick reminder. What if sign-in system in High School DxD will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author? So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if Gacha system in Modern Family World? What if Natsu has dual elements? What if Transmigrated in One Piece and becoming a Marine? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.